Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing my 74th Chillin' Chat, so we're about 25, 26 away from 100, so we're getting closer each week. I know I missed last week. I took a week off just to play some arcades and video games, take my time away from YouTube, but I am back this week on Sunday night here with you guys to talk home arcade. And I have probably one of the biggest guests that we can have in this home arcade community tonight. I was really happy to hear that K-Fox decided to show and say he was going to be part of this show tonight. Good to see you. How's it going tonight, K-Fox?
Great, man. No, great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, 74 episodes. That's not
74.
Heavy,
yeah,
I like when you number them. It helps you keep track. It kind of shows we've come a long way. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you doing that because I started YouTube, end of 2022. So I haven't been doing it that long, like September of 2022, not even 2 years yet. But I remember watching your streams, and you would always, have a number to each live stream, so you knew how far along you came. Yeah. I started doing that after about the 10th one, and then I've been keeping track ever since. So this is great. 74, almost to 100 now. I'm 25, 26 more streams. I'll be at 100. So I've been doing this a while. You've been doing it even longer than me. I think you mentioned it tonight on your stream earlier. You've been doing this for 5 years now?
It's been 5 years. My first video about Arcade 1-Up was in June of I guess it was 2019. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
First one, I was talking about these weird things I was seeing pop up in Walmart. I'm like, this is cool. I think I was talking about the rumored Marvel superheroes cabinet. Yeah, it was so cool.
And you started with Star Wars. I didn't watch back when you were doing Star Wars, but before that, you were...
Nobody watched that. Nobody watched that. I was a very, very, very small channel. I started out talking about Star Wars. I was one of those guys that didn't like the new stuff. So I was talking about the way things used to be back in my day. But it was a lot of passionate stuff about Star Wars, some of the pop culture stuff. And it was really kind of just, I would take my laptop with me when I traveled. It wasn't polished at all. And I kind of got tired of complaining about the new Star Wars. So I saw these things popping up. I think it was Walmart. And I got excited about that. So it was at the end of 19 that I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to talk about something I actually enjoy. And that's where this whole thing kind of came from.
Yeah, and that's how it started for me. I mean, I've been collecting these since 2019, but I was watching you. I was watching P-Dubs and Mike B and Cool Toy, all the creators. Tech Buzz, Glenn, all those guys. And just saw you guys having a ton of fun with this and just really enjoying, your time on YouTube. And I was like, you know what, I got to get into this. It just seems like a lot of fun. I have a passion with home arcades and Arcade 1-Up. I was like, I got to get into this. And it just kind of took off, as I started. And I've been, like I said, having nothing but fun with it. And now I'm 74 live streams in now. So it's been great. But let's get into some discussion tonight. But before we do, I want to say hi to everyone who's made it into the chat so far. Let's say hi to JJ. It looks like he was the very first chat that came in. He says, hey, Biggie D, great to see you have 19K Fox on tonight as a guest. In my opinion, AtGames Premium Starter is a ripoff, and it's a backhanded offering. The Arcade 1-Up Golden Tee Midway cab is ugly, but great games. Well, we're going to get into this talk, JJ, so I'm glad you started it and you got us going with that, and good to see you in the chat. Steps Gaming, she's saying, where is the pup table? So we're going to discuss some pup table tonight as well. We've got Ted Adam Green as well. Hey, gang. That makes my third live home arcade streak of the day. Woohoo. Good to see you, Ted. Glad you made it. Thumper Squid is here. Hello, wonderful gamers. Let's see. Hobby Monster. Hello, all. And Carl O, he'll be our moderator tonight. I know Jason normally is here on Sundays doing the moderating, but he'll be out of town this weekend, so Carl O will be in the chat taking care of those moderator needs that we need. Mike Hawkhurts is here. He says, long time no see, 19K Fox, great show tonight. I saw Mike Hawkhurts in your chat earlier tonight. Good to see you again. E. Leo is here as well. What's up, everybody? JR. And then I had Brooklyn Menace on the show just a couple weeks ago. He's saying, what a bright and cheerful thumbnail. He keeps giving me some
positive feedback. That's good.
Yeah, because the that week when I had Brooklyn on, we were just like, it was a true chill and chat. We literally had nothing planned. We just hopped online, went live, and just started talking about whatever. And he's just been giving me a hard time ever since about our thumbnails and preparation for the show. Super Dimensional is here as well. Good to see you. And Marine 50. Good evening programs. All right, guys. So let's get into it. Let's not waste much more time. We're going to start with Arcade 1-Up. I want to talk about this Arcade Classics. It's a Midway Golden Tee collaboration kind of cabinet, mix of two different cabinets into one. And just right off the bat, K-Fox, what are your thoughts on this Arcade 1-Up XL Arcade Classics that released at Costco here in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's I tell you what, it's a kind of a slap in the face to the people that wanted to get that Golden Tee XL with the correct monitor. Mm-hmm. They were just, they saw my video, they saw the Real Smile Bit did his video. They were intimidated by the swapping out the monitor. They were just hoping that Arcade 1-Up could right this wrong. And they did, but then they included a bunch of stuff that maybe those people weren't really excited about. I know this has some history. This particular multicade has existed before in a different iteration. The Chicago Gaming Company did this, so I get it. But for me, that's not what Arcade 1-Up is known for. That's not what they've stood out because they were little arcade recreations of original arcades. And for me, this is just a miss. Some people dig it, and I understand their point of view. It's cool, but for me, I just don't like this at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not a huge fan of this one, and mainly because, like you said, it's not an arcade recreation per se. I mean, there was that Golden Tee that was a multi-cade that they made that, and this kind of resembles that. But that's not like what you said Arcade 1-Up has been good at or has excelled at in the past. Yeah. Seems like they're kind of getting into this multi-cade experience for the very first time with this one. And I own the AtGames Legends Ultimate. Do you own that machine yet, or have you owned one?
No, I do not. I had the mini, the single player control panel. Yeah. Okay,
so that I have the Ultimate Legends. I got it for a really good deal. I got it for about $300. And I got it through VIP Outlet on eBay, brand new in the box, $300. And I play it all the time. It's like, of all my home arcades, that's the one that gets the most playtime is that Ultimate Legends. And it's like my ultimate multicade. It's got the trackball, it's got the spinners, it's got the buttons, joysticks. I can play all the arcade games on it, even hook a PC up to it, play OTG, play newer, PC games as well on it. So, and it's got the OTG controls, so it all translates to the PC, and those controls will translate to those Steam games. So it's been great. I love it. Gets a lot of playtime in the home arcade. So this, for me, it doesn't really fill any needs because I already have that in my Ultimate Legends. The reason I buy the Arcade 1-Ups is for what you said. They're recreations of the originals. And it kind of like I'm enjoying the collecting of new wave toys and how good of a job they do in recreating the arcades. That was what I liked about Arcade 1-Up, was their ability to recreate the arcade. Even though it wasn't perfect, it didn't look exactly like the original. At least they were trying to make it look as close as possible while still trying to reuse parts in other arcades. So this just doesn't hit the mark for me. It definitely isn't something I'm personally going to be interested in. But, for someone that doesn't own the AtGames Legends Ultimate, maybe they're big fans of Golden Tee, maybe they're big fans of some of these Midway games, I think it'll be a hit for them. They'll really like it. And I also like to see that Arcade 1-Up has done something, because there was so much talk about how Arcade 1-Up is going to be dead. Right, they're not coming out with anything new. And it looks like they got a pretty good deal or a pretty good agreement in place with Costco right now, because these are going to be all over the country. I checked the Costco here in Arizona yesterday, and they're going to be here in the next week or two here in Arizona. So I was going to go up there and check them out. Still haven't had hands-on with this. So I'm speaking from just these images and what I've seen on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, I'm speaking from the same position. And some people said, listen, you're just talking about the appearance. That's true, because that's all that I have to go on. I mean, I have I have my own XL version of the Golden Tee, so I understand that gameplay. I've not had any personal complaints about it. These things have always been compromise machines. That's the way I describe them. What is your level of compromise? What are you comfortable with? Some people, I mean, because listen, it's not a CRT. This is not a one-for-one recreation. So there's going to be some kind of compromise. I, for the most part, have been happy with what they have offered and said, okay, for the price, I'll take the 17-inch LCD and the riser, and that's okay. When we get, north of $500, I start having some issues. And I was one of the ones that bought T2 right off the bat. I know that was expensive, but it showed me some of those limitations. It showed me, wow, I don't think these are really worth that when you go north of 500. Mm-hmm. So the price point, obviously, you go north of 500. Now we start getting a little more critical. The play experience, while I think the Golden Tee play experience is probably going to be good on this, those joysticks won't interfere with that. To add the Midway games to this, I think that second player experience is going to be absolutely atrocious when you consider where you're going to have to rest that right hand to hit those buttons. I think that's going to be horribly uncomfortable. And it just goes to show, it's like, well, if you can't do it well, why do it at all?
Yeah. And I hear you on that. Like when you start getting into these Midway games, looking at this control panel, and I put Paperboy on the thumbnail for a reason. It's like, can you even play Paperboy on this arcade? It's like it's got to be impossible, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be comfortable, and it just begs the question: so why put it on there? I mean, if you've got a deluxe cabinet that has 14 games, you're not going to go with the 3 Mortal Kombats. Okay, I get that, but there's still 11 games there to sort of choose from. We could take Paperboy off the list and still have 10 games. We could pull another arcade Midway game in there from something, right? Mm-hmm. And just eliminate Paperboy from the equation and just make some nice button mashers. And that would, in my mind, make some sense. Second player is a hell of a sacrifice. So I don't know what the fix is here. I don't know if you take the trackball and move it over to the second player position and you just have a one-player joystick button setup. I mean, maybe if you did that, you could have even had Mortal Kombat, but it was only one player. But then why have Mortal Kombat if you only have one player? And then you just start going down the list and you run into all these problems. And it's just like, why are we doing this at all? I mean, I think that they probably could have just gone with a Golden Tee with the 4x3 BOE monitor and charged the same price. And I don't think sales would be worse than what this is here.
Yeah, I was hopeful and I was wanting them to just do the Golden Tee XL with the BOE monitor. Just make right what you did wrong on that first XL, and you're good. That's all you have to do. Don't overthink it. Just correct what you made the mistake on the first time, and you'll be fine. And I was hoping that was the case. When I saw the port data come in, I was hopeful and that maybe we get a Golden Tee XL with the BOE, and maybe that was a typo. And then there's another cabinet called the Midway Classics or the Midway Legacy XL that would be totally separate. I didn't, when I heard this idea from Mike B, I think he was the first one who reported on it, that they were going to be doing this Golden Tee / Midway cabinet. I just didn't like the idea from the very beginning. Even before I saw it, I was like, this just isn't the direction that Arcade 1UP should be going, at least for me personally. I think our community too, our home arcade community, we want something probably that the Costco doesn't want. Costco wants something that they can sell to everyone. We want like individual arcade machines that recreate those originals. Yep. So definitely Arcade 1UP is selling to the retailers. They're not listening to us right now. And that is probably a result of, they're in a predicament. They owe money to other lenders. They call them vulture or venture capitalists. They owe someone out there. So they got to make money, and whatever's going to make them money is what they're going to produce. And evidently this is the products that are going to be paying the bills right now. So I'm okay with it in the aspect that it's going to keep Arcade 1UP going and keep them alive, because as long as they're alive, there's still hope that they're going to bring us something new. But I'll tell you, I kind of want to get your feeling on this. Over the last few weeks, my interest in Arcade 1-Up has been dwindling. It's been going down and down and down week by week. And seeing this, it makes me hopeful they're going to stay in business, but it doesn't make me excited about what they have coming. What are your thoughts on, Arcade 1-Up's future here at the end of this year, early next year? What do you think is going to happen?
There's been a lot of big videos out there with big thumbnails that say Arcade 1-Up is dead. And I just don't think that if we're talking about the company of Arcade 1-Up, I don't think that they're dead. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm hopeful about their future. They could become a sort of a My Arcade type of company where they're just sort of spitting out these little nostalgia, little machines that they hope are going to be impulse buys. And that has got to have mass market appeal. It's got to be accessible to a multitude of people. So that eliminates niche titles, unique control schemes, weird cabinet designs, all stuff that I'm excited about and would look forward to, something different. I am just not confident in the leadership at Arcade 1-Up that they're going to go in a direction of pursuing more different, weird arcade titles. I'm not even confident they're going to pursue different arcade titles. I think that they're, for the most part, either satisfied or they realize they're stuck with the licenses that they have, and we're going to unfortunately get the same games in different packages. Now, with the pub table, we'll talk about that later, that's a better situation than this, but it kind of reeks of desperation. I'm more excited about taking a Street Fighter Deluxe in that unique dynamo form factor and then putting a different PCB in it and kind of making the cabinet that I always wanted. The four that are behind me, that's exactly what they are. It's a Midway cabinet, it's a dynamo cabinet. I've taken the PCB out, I've done a swap, I've put some artwork on it, and I've kind of made it the thing that I think that they should have made a year ago, or 2 years ago. So I still have that to kind of keep me a little excited. But as far as being excited about what they're going to do and what they're going to bring out, I'm kind of with you. I'm just not hopeful or, interested in the stuff that they're coming out with. It's just I'm very much in a holding pattern. Let's wait and see. What's going to come up next. Let me look at it. Let me take a step back. I'm not sitting here, I'm going to save up my money for that next Arcade 1-Up thing that comes out. I'm just not.
You're not just like waiting for that next product to come out and just excited about it like I used to be. No. Where it always around the corner there was something new coming and it's like, what is it going to be? And we're really excited about what that could be, and that just doesn't exist anymore. It's like they're so predictable now that we know these things well in advance, it seems like. And the things that they announce, even when we do hear that in advance, it's not something we're excited about. Like for me with this Midway Classics, Golden Tee XL, like just hearing about it on paper and reading that on paper, I just wasn't even excited about it from the very beginning. I was wishing and hopeful that it would be something different, and it wasn't. One thing I was wanting to see was the Defender XL, because John D was, that was something he was really high on, was wanting to make a Defender XL with proper controls. That was something that he pushed for really hard at Arcade 1-Up, he told me, and that never happened. And I was thinking, well, maybe this Midway XL that they're bringing to Costco, maybe they're finally going to listen to John D and make even if it doesn't have unique controls, at least have the Defender artwork on it, and didn't happen.
Well, it's funny because we talk about, okay, they're stuck. They only have these games. What do they do? You would think that maybe some conventional wisdom would be like, okay, well, let's say they have Defender. We already have it. Why not make a Defender-focused cabinet? We have these other titles. Make something focused on that title that we already own. I mean, a different variant, a different SKU, maybe just a different reskin. We kind of saw that with that second generation Legacy line, where they're going to reskin this. We're going to get variants. I thought that maybe we can get variants of cabinets. The Dynamo Deluxe. We've got the Midway Deluxe. Why haven't we seen any variants in that exact same package, right? Just I don't know, a Puzzle Fighter Dynamo. Not that anybody wants that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That sort of seems like that would almost be easy to do that. I don't know why we haven't seen it.
Yeah, so this year, and this is what I've learned, from John back late last year, was that Arcade 1-Up is focused on low cost, high reward, no development cost.
Yes.
So let's say they come out with, just for purpose of us discussing this, a Puzzle Fighter Dynamo design Capcom cabinet with the Puzzle Fighter artwork. That would be low cost. It would be low development cost. It may have high reward. And they haven't done any of that. They haven't brought any of that. They went with this cabinet, this Golden Tee / Midway, and mixed them together. And that's the thing, is we have to think cabinets that they already have a PCB for, they already have a games list for, and they're going to try and remake that stuff and rehash it. And that's what we've been seeing. I just don't think they're making the right choices. There are many different ways they can go with that and reuse, games lists that they already have. Just give us the artwork we want, and I think people will buy it.
And I agree with all that. To your point, look at what they just did with this Midway / Golden Tee offering. Okay, well, so you could have just done a BOE, which means you would have to put the ROM on a PCB that supported the 4:3 aspect ratio. So there is some of that engineering there. And they had to do that for this latest cabinet. But then they had to add joysticks. They had to add buttons. They had to change the artwork. They had to go through some effort and additional expense to make this. Or they could have.
And they actually added games from like the PartyCade to this as well.
Yes,
like Sinistar.
They've changed. This is not just a PCB they took from another deluxe, right, and threw it on there. So they took the time to do that. It would have been a lower risk item or lower risk situation to just remake an XL, reintroduce it as Golden Tee XL, now with a new brighter screen. You remember with the Game Boy SP, and then they came out with the Game Boy SP, the 001 was the original. The 101 had the brighter screen. And on the box, they just said, brighter screen. They could have just remade the same cabinet with the 4:3 aspect ratio, with the BOE, rebranded with a new brighter screen, and just make the same thing and then put it out there. And I think the risk would have been lower than what they've done now. And
lower cost, too.
Exactly. Right. So I just don't understand their decision-making process.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's tough for an Arcade 1-Up fan right now, I think, because we're so passionate about this stuff. Every week we're talking about it on these live streams and on our videos. And for me right now, just Arcade 1-Up is not very exciting for me right now. And I'm starting, and we're going to get into this discussion on like Switch tonight. I've been playing my Switch a lot. I've been playing my PlayStation Classic a lot in the last couple of weeks, modding that, adding games to it, and playing my PlayStation 5, and more interested in like console gaming just because they're not bringing us what I want, anything even close to what I want. And I could see what they're doing right now going on for a long time. I could see them doing like selling to Costco, selling to Sam's, these special type of orders for years, years on end, and we don't see anything new or anything we want to see. So just kind of preparing for the long term, and that, Arcade 1-Up might not be the focus for my channel and maybe home arcade as a whole going forward. It may be AtGames or something else, like you talk Unico a lot. So these other products. Yeah,
if we talk about our channels, they're like a window into our hobby. Our interests, right? And they change from time to time. The focus may change, and I think that as long as the audience understands that's the focus or the perspective that we're trying to maintain, this home arcade hobby is not just Arcade 1-Up. It is the older arcades. It's the Unicos. It's the AtGames. It's the integration of consoles. Like some of my earliest mods, I used a console as the basis of that mod. There's still a ton of fun to be had there. There's a lot of great arcade releases that were available on consoles that you could turn into your old home arcade setup.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. I've been noticing that this week. I've been doing a lot of like PS2 emulation. PS2 emulation's gotten way better just in like the last year. You can run it on like a very low spec laptop, and the games run great now. You can even hook your like DualShock controllers up to the PC, and with the right drivers, they'll play perfectly. And I was looking back at the old PS2 games lineup, and they have Namco arcade classics. They've got the Midway arcade classics. There, you got one right there.
I've got all three versions. Yeah, and it's a perfect point that you make. You take these old consoles and you take some of these original classics of arcade ports, and you can go crazy. You can absolutely go nuts. It's so fun.
And if you can get the controls right, and I was thinking about hooking my PC up to my AtGames Legends Ultimate, emulating these PS2 games with the OTG controls, and playing these past like Namco classics, Midway classics, Capcom classics, arcade collections on my AtGames Legends Ultimate. So I'm going to be doing that here soon and testing all that out. But
and I think the idea is to allow these old games to have new life, and this is all part of that. Whether it's a PlayStation 2 collection, whether it's a downloadable title on your Switch, whether it's an arcade one-up actual physical cabinet, we just want these games to live on, and in that passion, that focus for me and you and others, that's never going to go away, whether arcade one-up lives or dies.
Now, on that subject as well, too, like arcade one-up, one thing that made me highly interested in what they were doing as well was that they were bringing these games to online, where we had online leaderboards, online competition. Killer Instinct, I can hop online and play. MVC2, I can do that as well. And that was kind of something that differentiated them from all the competitors, is they had this online platform where we could compete with each other as a community. And that is something that kind of, like I said, distinguished them from the competition. And the servers are still up. We can still play online, but are they bringing us anything new that's really going to, add to that online infrastructure? Are there any new titles that are coming in that are going to add where we're going to play online like that? And I just don't see it. Is the Midway Classics even? It's got online leaderboards, I think.
Leaderboards, yeah.
Yeah, so you can at least do that. But
we talked about the lobbies being dead. I also look at Capcom kind of getting wise, and then now they have the Marvel vs. Capcom collection coming out, and it's going to have access to a more robust online community with PlayStation and Xbox and everybody. So I don't know that they're going to even pursue that anymore, really. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Because that MVC2,
right,
it's going to have rollback on that, which is going to make it like exceptional, streamlined gameplay where there's no lag or anything like that.
It's going to be so great.
Have you you had MVC2, right, at one point, or have you sold it?
I still have it.
Oh, you still have it.
So I had the cabinet. I sold the cabinet. Then I purchased it again because I wanted to put it in the Dynamo form factor. So that's one of my last, I think that might have been my second to last mod, was taking that and putting it in that form factor. I just love that deluxe cabinet. I can't help it. I just love it. And so I've got a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in a Dynamo HS5 arcade one-up.
I just have to ask, what do you do with the old cabinet, like the old wood and the parts?
You know what's funny? So I will take the parts I need. Usually it's either the control panel and the PCB, or just the PCB and maybe the encoder. And I will put it up on Facebook for $100. So it's the entire cabinet. It's the buttons. It's the joysticks. $100. And I get somebody either that day or the next day will come and get the thing. And they use it for whatever project they have. And because you're going to get the BOE monitor, the little lit marquee.
That's a good deal.
You get the shell. And I think it's I'm not trying to make a bunch of money, but I would love to get it out there, get a little bit of something, right? But get it out there and let somebody mod it and do whatever they want to do, and it's a guaranteed way to move it quick. So, but that's usually what I do. Yeah.
And do you ever play MVC2 online or any of the other titles that come on that board?
I do. I haven't played it since I put it in the new cabinet yet online. I technically right now I have two versions. So I have the original version and I have the X-Men 97 version. So I have both cabinets. One of them is not online because that cabinet is the X-Men 97. That's not going to stay a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. I've got plans for that. But the other version, I am online. I've played just a couple matches, there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of the lobbies tend to be kind of empty.
Yeah, it depends on which game too. Like if you're playing MVC 1, there's more people playing that than 2.
Yeah, and they will kick my ass.
Yeah.
They're good. It's so fun, but I'm like cannon fodder for those guys.
Yeah, same here. I'm horrible.
Yeah.
Like they always kick my butt every time I hop
But
online.
it's fun. I like jumping in. It's fun, you know.
But I've noticed like MVC 1, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Street Fighter, Coda, and Marvel Superheroes. Those all play really good. But
Yes.
MVC 2, it's hit or miss. Depending on who you're playing, if you're playing someone with a good connection, it could be a decent match. But if not, I mean, it's pretty bad. There's a lot of stuttering and lag, and it's not that great. So I can definitely see when this MVC2 collection comes out on consoles, that's going to kind of make it less likely people are going to be playing the arcade one up online.
And look at your investment. You're talking about a $50 investment versus a $500, $600 investment. It's the barrier of entry is much lower. And I think that's a good thing because more people should play that game. That's a great game. If you've never played it, I played it on I still have it on Dreamcast. Played it back in the day. It's so fun. I want everybody to play it. And to be fair, RK1 have had their shot. They did 2 cabinets with that board in it. But now it's time to release that to the masses. And I think that's going to probably limit some of the titles that RK1-Up's going to have access to.
Yeah, I think the one miss that they had on that was that rollback. They weren't able to implement the rollback. If they had done that, it sounds like everything would have ran smooth. They wouldn't have had any problems. But there just, I guess, wasn't the funding for that. The development wasn't there for that. And it just never happened, unfortunately. But we did get another leak, too. Well, this isn't a leak. Why am I saying leak? This is a release at Costco.
Yeah.
You can actually go see it right now if they have one in stock. And I heard you talking about it tonight. I'm not big on these head-to-head tables. Do you own any of these yet?
No, the only one that we saw was the pub table. I did a video this week where we had some of those leaked images where they were going to do like a Street Fighter version and a Marvel Superhero Street version. And I thought that was kind of cool. I think that, and I talked about this a lot on my show, if you're going to rehash the same board, the same games, there's worse ways you can do it. I think this is pretty cool. I like the fact that, okay, it's a 2-player. It's not a 4-player like Pong was. So let's take that real estate and put some LED lit cup holders. I know it's kind of a gimmick, but I think that's kind of cool. If you want this as a showpiece or a centerpiece or just something different in your arcade or your basement, this could be something that's really, it's accessible. It's Pac-Man / Miss Pac-Man, so everybody knows that they play it. There's worse ways to reuse an IP. This is not bad at all. It's only the second pub table we've ever had, so that's good. I think that says something. I dig it. It's probably my 3rd favorite form factor. Behind, you get the uprights, countercades, and then this.
Yeah, I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And I could see where you're coming from on that. I definitely like the cup holders. And I remember those leaks with the Street Fighter, the Marvel Superheroes, and I thought the cup holders were a good idea. So it's nice to see that they were developing these ideas and they're actually using some of them now, even after John's gone. Because that was a great idea. And then they add the lighting into the cup holder as well. I think it adds more value. It gives people more of a reason to buy this because it's not just the arcade. It's kind of like furniture in your home, and it's got some appeal to it in the way it looks, and with the lighting and stuff. So I think this is a good one.
Do you dig it? Are you into it? Or are you over the Pac? Because I get the argument about it's too much Pac-Man. I understand that completely.
Yeah, if I had like a big house and I had a huge game room and had plenty of room to work with, this may be something I'd be interested in, more so for like when people come over, gives the people a place to put their drinks, and it kind of be a centerpiece in the game room. So I do like it in that aspect, but I'm in an apartment. I have very little room. These stand-ups, like they're the perfect size because they give me plenty of room, like in this room I'm in, to walk around. Where if I had something like this, it just wouldn't work in where I'm living right now. So, but I can see for the bigger game rooms, this being a big hit for them.
And the problem that I had with the sit-down versions of this, because I got it was so cool. It looked great. It was the Black Series Street Fighter head-to-head, so you sit down, right? It looked great. It was all black, so it was kind of sleek and kind of cool. But the real estate that it takes up, you got the actual cabinet itself, and then you have to sit down. You have to sit down, so it requires 2 chairs. It just takes up so much room. The benefit that this has over that is you can stand up and play, so you don't have to have a couple chairs there. But to your point, it does take up a lot of real estate, for sure.
Yeah, so I think this is a good option, or a good one for them to make. Let's take a look here at this video here. So this was a Instagram reel that I had found, and I saw Super Game Room Dude showing this off on Friday. I think that's when it dropped. But just taking a look at it here, guys. I'd called my Costco to see if they had any in stock, and they're supposed to have some next week. So P-Dubs and I are actually going to meet up at a local Costco when they get them. We're going to go in together. He's got a Costco membership. We're going to get some video on these and our opinions on them.
Yeah.
But $4.99, not bad, and I like the new features on it. I like that they're trying at least. At least they're trying new things, and it's not terrible.
It's a better direction than like a collector cade. Nobody wants more collector cades. Nobody wants another couch cade. That stuff is played out. It was never good to begin with. If you're going to do something different, this is only the second pub table we've ever had. I don't hate this. I like this. And it could be just a gimmick, and it could get overused like anything else. It could be played out. But for now, for me, this is different enough to where I dig it. I like it.
I remember you bought the black Miss Pac-Man, the one that I have, at one point. I think you sold it. Did you ever buy a Class of 81?
I didn't. I was waiting for the deluxe. I got to the point where I was like, okay. I'm done with risers, I think. If I'm gonna have to stick with a 17-inch monitor, I want a deluxe. I'm telling you, these dynamos are so cool. The hand position is just great. Like my right hand has a place to rest because you got that Knight Rider nose on the front. It kind of sticks out. It's so cool. So I dig it. I like the Midway deluxes. I'm thinking, okay, I want to go deluxe. So I've been waiting for the deluxe, and I just haven't got around to going with that. But I see this, and it's like, do I do this? Can I talk to wife? Can I talk her into maybe I put that in the bar area of the basement? I don't know. But
because right now you don't have a Pac-Man cabinet.
I have a Pac-Man. I got.
You have the XL. You have the XL.
I got the XL.
You don't have a Miss Pac-Man.
I don't have a Miss Pac-Man, and I'm okay with having either Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man, but Miss Pac-Man has got a little more appeal. I like the color scheme better. It stands out more. But yeah, it's a damn shame we didn't see an XL version of Class of 81. That would have been the thing to go by for sure.
Or the XL Miss Pac-Man Blue. I thought that was highly likely as well.
That would have been great too. Exactly. And the thing is, it kills me. You've got the cabinet. You got the Pac-Man XL. You've made it. Just reskin it. Different ROMs on the PCB. You're done. You're absolutely done.
Your Pac-Man XL, I think I actually saw it in person in Cleveland last year.
You did.
At the house.
That's right. You were at the house before B got mad and kicked everybody out. And you saw. Did you see the damage? I don't know if you did. The P-Dub damage.
I didn't actually see it because I saw it already assembled. Was there damage somewhere on it?
So during the unboxing video, he wanted to test out the G panel because Kong's wife had stepped on the G panel in their Tron as part of his video, and she broke it. So he thought he was going to test it out, and Mike was like, "What are you doing? Don't!" And he steps on it, breaks the thing. So that was part of my video, was making that repair and putting it together. But yeah, you were there.
And you've got it fixed, I guess. You just opened up a ticket with Arcade 1UP and they fixed it for you?
No. I made the repair myself.
Oh, okay.
I said, you know what? We're gonna get this home. We're gonna make it right. I'm gonna fix you, Pac-Man. And I was able to get it fixed. Yeah, it wasn't that big a deal. Some wood glue and some clamps and some prayers, and it came together. So it's good.
So you have this huge arcade. You've got real arcades. You probably got more real arcades than you do Arcade 1UPs. Do you play the Pac-Man XL often, or how often would you say you play it?
So as soon as you come in the arcade, the first thing you see is Pac-Man XL on the right and Ninja Turtles original 4-player 17-inch on the left, and then the left side is just all the deluxes. I go back and forth because like the newest one is Outrun 2 that I'm playing, the real arcade. So I love that, obviously.
Hmm.
But there's a place in this arcade, in my arcade, for both form factors. I think that the XL fits so much better, especially when sitting next to a real arcade.
Hmm.
The difference is not so shocking
Hmm.
because if you have like a deluxe next to a real arcade, it's ridiculous the size. It's like half scale, you know. But the XL version, it doesn't feel that awkward. It doesn't feel that bad. So
Yeah, that was the
I really,
initial impression
yeah,
I had when I walked up to yours at that Airbnb. Was like, this does not feel like an arcade went up to me.
right,
I'm not used to
right,
this size, and I could see how next to a real arcade, it's actually going to fit pretty well
yeah,
and look pretty good. Um, they did such a good job with Pac-Man XL in September of
yes.
last year. Why not bring out the Miss Pac-Man in blue this year? It just seems like a slam dunk. I don't know why they didn't do it. It seems like they always make things more difficult than they have to be.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because I think that I mean, I haven't met someone, I haven't heard anybody. I think universally, Pac-Man XL was accepted. It was everybody enjoyed it. It was a decent price point. I mean, the form factor was great. So I don't know how they could mess that up.
And we're not even like huge, like for me at least, I'm not huge Pac-Man fan. I mean, I
Yeah,
got into it more so because Arcade One Up was making it than it was. I was into Pac-Man before Arcade One Up. Um, so it's like we liked it the way it was, the Pac-Man
yeah.
XL, and it wasn't even the game that I liked the most, and I still liked it. So it's like you really can't mess that up if you keep making XLs that look like the originals. And I just wish they would have done that. But going forward, and this was something I wanted to discuss with you with some other cabinets, coming up or possibly coming up. I don't know why that image of the NBA Jam's all fuzzy. Sorry, guys.
That's
Must
because
be.
God doesn't want us to see that. That's how
Yeah,
bad it is.
it's that bad.
It's that bad. Yeah.
So this is the sleek Arcade One Up Deluxe, or the slim Arcade One Up Deluxe, and I know you've talked about this. I have, many others have, but just on this show, kind of give us your quick thoughts on it.
It's it's I don't understand who thought that it needed to be skinnier. I mean, let's just I'm gonna just step back and I'm gonna pretend like this was a design choice. Who said it needed to be less depth? I don't think anyone ever said that. The complaint was always the four-player control panels. I'd like a two-player version. I don't always. I don't. I mean, four players cool, but I don't need the four-player deck. It sticks out too far. I can't fit as many arcades in my miniature arcade because of that. Just give me a two-player version, and that was promising. But to just say that it was a design choice, I don't get that. I don't believe that. I think that this is obviously what some of us had thought, that this is really more of a design choice because they're trying to step away from Think Up and the potential lawsuit and all that. This is obviously, in my opinion, a Casino-cade inspired version of NBA Jam.
Hmm.
And while I like the two-player deck and the version, that's great. That is the only redeeming quality of this. It's so off-putting. Just the shape, the size. It's like a partycade you just put on a riser. It's another step in the wrong direction. I would love to see the sales numbers once this thing comes out. I know it's pre-order now. You get this thing out in the marketplace, give it a couple months. I would love to see the realistic sales numbers on this particular cabinet. Do they really think $500 is an impulse buy item? I don't think it is. I think if you're
Yeah, I
50
mean, how
bucks,
can you compare a 500? This is 500, where that
agree.
Midway Classics is 599, and look at the difference
Yeah,
in size,
look at the
the
difference.
amount of games, and then you compare those two. Now I really like the Midway Classics. When you compare it to this,
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
and it's only
Yeah,
$100 more, and it's
it's
got a
$100.
19-inch.
It's got a 19-inch monitor. It has a crazy control deck that gives you so many different games and ways to play. It looks like what you would think of when you think of an arcade cabinet. This is such a departure, and they've gone with such a milquetoast PCB that we've seen a million times before. There's nothing new. To me, there is zero reason to buy this. I mean, no one that is into Arcade 1-Up or arcades, if you're into arcades or Arcade 1-Up, you've probably already bought NBA Jam anyway. So there's no reason for you to get this anyway. And even some new person coming in, the price point makes it impulse buy prohibited. I mean, if it was $250, $200, okay, maybe. But if you're charging $500, that's PS5, that's Xbox Series S. That's it doesn't make any sense to me how they think, or someone would think, this is gonna, well, we'll just slim it down. It'll be an impulse buy. It'll be great. I just don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. This is not for me at all.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this one, this is one that they're doing. This isn't a Costco exclusive. This isn't part of that deal. This is something that they're advertising on their website as coming soon. This is something they're going to distribute, I guess. They have some new agreement, though, right? With, like, they're going to go through some other company to distribute these now. Did you hear about that this week?
So the potential benefit of going with locking down a distributor is that the retailers will not have to keep the stock in their own warehouses. This would be the job of Alliance, right? So then the positive spin on that would be, okay, great. So it's not a hard sell to Best Buy or Walmart to do a Paperboy cabinet, because they don't really have to stock it. They just have to make it available on their websites. That's it. So that's going to give them the opportunity to go crazy and do weird stuff. But then we see the Slim Katie, and I don't understand who prompted that, why they thought that was going to be significant enough to make NBA Jam fans go for it. I don't understand the logic in any way, shape, or form.
I wonder if they're going to actually pull it, or are they going to go through with this? Because of all the negative reaction to it. Like, could they backtrack? Because I noticed on the coming soon, they used to have the X-Men '97 stool, and it's not on there anymore. It's like they pulled it from the website. It's like it's not ever going to come. I wonder if they would do that with this NBA Jam Slim, even with the promotional material and all that they put out, the mass email.
The stool is actually available now. You can find it on Amazon.
Oh, you can. Okay.
That you can. Will they pull this? It depends on how far down the road. How are they committed? Is this in production? Is it in a box? Is it on a ship? Is it ready to go? I don't know. I think that the days. Okay, well, look at New Wave Toys. Okay, simple, quick example. They just did that this week. They said, "Hey, you guys want another Ghetto Blaster? A different version?" They sent out a 2-question survey just to get feedback from their customer base. What do you think? Arcade 1-Up isn't doing that. I mean, I'm on their email list for other stuff. I'm not getting that email.
There was that one email that went out that Travis, he led this email, but it asked us what would be the next release you want to see. And the Robotron 2084, I think, won that poll. That's really good data when they get that.
And then my poll, your poll, anybody on YouTube that's doing these polls, asking these questions, we're providing free market research to Arcade 1-Up, and I don't think that they're going after that. I don't think they're trying to gather that. I never saw an email about, hey, what do you think about this design? Should we bring this to market? I don't think that they're interested in our opinions at all. So that tells me they're trying to go mass market. And then that just begs the question, do they think if this was a $300 item, okay, I see some logic, but you're going to get...
Even $399, I think that would have been even more reasonable than what the $499.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go, instead of a peasant version, you're going to get a full-size version. You're going to get a lit marquee, so it's not a peasant cabinet that's sitting on the ground with just a plywood marquee. And you're going to make it $399 or $299. I could see their thought process behind that, but to charge exactly the same price you've been charging for everything else, this is just such a miss for me. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think this one's coming out soon. I don't know the exact date on it. Maybe they're telling us on the website, but it was like September, October. It was supposed to ship. But then, talking, even more cabinets coming at the end of this year or early next year. I wanted to go through with you a couple of ideas here, things that we have seen in through leaks and things like that. Was like this X-Men. I don't think this X-Men will ever come to market. I think this was like led by John D and his just passion for these arcades and wanting to see what can we come up with, as a team. And I thought this was amazing, though, that they were even able to accomplish a prototype such as this. I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, well, I made my version. I saw this probably a year and a half ago, and it was just such a damn shame. Right off the bat, though, you see that they're trying to mimic. They're not trying to. What I did on my channel is I made an arcade one-up version of a 6-player cabinet. They didn't do that here. They made a recreation of that original cabinet from back in the day. They went above and beyond what I thought they would have done. I thought they would have made much more compromises. I used a 27-inch monitor in my cabinet. They did the same thing here. They have this giant 2-piece thing. It's so cool. I would have loved to see this be a direct-to-consumer item, where maybe we could have got this for $1,500. Just make it an option. See if the community was into it. But I would have paid $1,500 for this any day of the week. I think this is so freaking cool. I love the game. I love the 6-player aspect of it. I love the look and the way that they mimicked all the detail is so cool. But yeah, sadly, we're never going to see it.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Definitely now, like, with the way things are going. Maybe, like, if they stay in business for another 10 years, maybe we'll see this someday. But
who knows?
Not in the near term, I don't think, or in the short term we'll be seeing anything like this.
Sadly not. Yeah.
But it was amazing just to see what they could come up with, behind the scenes, and just the accomplishment of getting a prototype made like this is really cool. I remember you talking about this cabinet, 6 months before the leak. And did you know about it, or like did you just hear about it?
Oh, yeah.
Or
well, I saw the image. I saw these and the other images. Probably some of the images I've seen for a couple years. This one I saw about a year and a half ago. So I knew about this stuff. We couldn't share it.
I did hear you on your stream say, I know that there is a room of prototypes and there's a 6-player X-Men. I've heard about it. That's what you said.
In the very beginning of my channel, within the first year, there was an employee that reached out to me and was sending me these images, and it was their skunk works. It was their prototypes they were making. They weren't like this. They weren't this detailed. I didn't get these images till much later, but these original images I was getting was from a guy that worked there, and they were just cranking out all of these versions of games. They usually had the shark fin design, but some of them were different. Some of them were weird. I saw House of the Dead. All kind of stuff. I saw The Simpsons before The Simpsons was leaked. They back in the John D era, they were trying weird stuff, and they were really going for it. And the sad part is I think that's some of the passion that we're missing now.
Yeah. Where now it's going to be, if they release anything, it's going to be something they think makes them a lot of money.
Sure.
Not a lot of development, not a lot of passion, I think, behind what they're making either. They're not driven by the arcade passion like some of the people working there before. Watch like their shorts and their videos, and it just seems like they're way off of what like we want and what we want to see. They're just, and I've heard you discuss it on your streams week after week. About their furniture email they sent out, and they contract with this company that's going to come build your arcade one up.
Right.
It's just week after week, and it just never fails. They will show us that they're not thinking like we're thinking.
It's very surface level type stuff. It's not cutting to the core of what they're really selling is nostalgia. And so how do you capitalize on that? You've got to go back to those years and mine that nostalgia mine. You've got to go in the 90s and 80s and dig and see what you can come up with and see what's recognizable, what IPs are available, what licenses can we get for cheap, and maybe with the distribution deal they have with Alliance, maybe, just maybe, we can see something different come from them. I got my doubts.
Like maybe this relationship or this agreement they have with Alliance, business deal they have with them, maybe that frees up some funding, or maybe that gives them a little more flexibility to bring us some of the stuff we want now, where their hands were kind of tied before, where now they have this business deal with Alliance that's going to kind of free them up to do some things they want to do. Maybe
could we see something from that leaked list? I mean, because there was some good stuff on that leaked list. Does this free them up to pursue that? And if that's the case, well, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. I'll be happy. I'll be back on board, because there was some great stuff on that list. Or are they just going to continue to spit out the same stuff they've had forever? And that's going to be disappointing. We'll see.
So I heard that they're going to be at CES in 2025 in January. They're kind of setting up for this CES show here in January of 2025. They reached out, I think, to the Cornercade and maybe Mike B and some others to let them know we're going to be there, because they weren't going to be at Evo. And so maybe they do have some things up their sleeve that they're going to show us then. What you think that they may bring us? And I put on the thumbnail AVP. Do you think that may ever happen?
Oh, buddy, you hit me in the feels. Well, I'll show this off. So this is not the AVP board. This is one of my boards. This is one of my CPS2 boards. I've got the AVP board in the back because I'm doing I got a new decal. I'm going to put a new decal on it. But this is part of my real board collection. I love CPS2 games. AVP being one of those CPS2 games. I was excited about the potential. There's a couple things going on here. Big Blue, obviously. Deluxe Big Blue, another plus. 3 players on a 4-player deck is something I did with my Rampage mod. I'm telling you, the amount of space that you have, it's night and day, right? And there's only 3 buttons, so it's no problem. It would have been very comfortable. It would have been very cool. I have a sliver of hope this is possible. There's some potential there.
And the leak made me think they were pretty far along. Like they were getting pretty close to actually making this at that point.
And you can look at this and you can see all the elements are there. So Big Blue from the Big Blue cabinet. You have the slanted 4-player control panel from the NBA Jam Deluxe that they did. Okay, so that's all there. So all the elements are there. They've done all this. So they could do it no problem. The artwork is just a matter of just going into Photoshop and hit print. You got 3 players. There's a bunch of Capcom 3-player games out there. They had a relationship with Capcom, so all the pieces are there. They're going to be mimicking a very cool cabinet in the Big Blue. AVP, both franchises, incredibly recognizable. I mean, the list goes on and on. Why you should do this, there's a big list. I just don't know that they will take that chance. I think this is probably on the short list. I think there's other games out there that they'll probably going to bank on. I think they're more recognizable. But when they say they're going to be at CES, I've been to CES. I've seen incredible vendors with phenomenal booths that will blow your mind. And then you go in the back and you see the guys that are selling wallets and fidget spinners. Is like, how did you get here? What are you doing? And they've got a little booth. They also said they were at Comic-Con this year. We're at Comic-Con. We've returned to Comic-Con, and they just had one cabinet in the Hasbro booth. So I'm not really pumped about them being at CES. I think it's going to be a very small offering. If they do have a big booth and it's just full of the stuff they've already shown, I'm not that excited about it. I am going to go to CES this year or next year. I'll see whatever they have, and I'll be happy to see it. But I just am not looking forward, or I'm not expecting CESs from the past where we had the 15-foot tall RK 1-Up cabinet.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same thing we've seen in the past. It's going to be different when they're there. And still up in the air in what we're going to get. And it doesn't seem like we have the leaks or the inside info like we used to have before. So we may
So-
not even know leading up to it what it's going to be. It may be complete surprise.
Unfortunately, yeah, I think Michael B is going to be your best bet. Corner Cage probably another good bet. Those two guys are going to be really close to Arcade 1-Up. Let's see what they have to say. Unfortunately, I've kind of burned all my bridges, so it is what it is. But hey, listen, if they bring something cool, man, it's that does nothing but good stuff for the community, and I'll be happy to report on it. That'd be great.
Yeah, so we got some stuff hopefully to be excited about towards the end of this year with Arcade 1-Up, and then we've got the new arcade classics. We've got the new head-to-head Miss Pac-Man, and we've got the NBA Jam Slim we know is coming. So there are some stuff to buy from them, and hopefully they'll keep it going and bring us something we want to see. But let's move on, guys, and I wanted to run a real quick Super Chat video because Ezekiel, he sent over $1.99. I appreciate that $2 Super Chat, Ezekiel, but I wanted to make sure to recognize you for that, so let's run a Super Chat video. All right, an AVP for
Feels,
K
man,
Fox.
I love it. You know I love it. You know I love it.
That's a great beat 'em up game, and you know
Isn't it
Cadillacs
so
and
fun?
Dinosaurs too. I think I like them equally, or maybe even like Cadillacs and Dinosaurs more.
I'm not mad at you for that because that would be that's like the dream, right? I mean, if you could get AVP on that the Arcade 1-Up cabinet, and you do Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, you do the 3-player version of Knights of the Round. There's so many cool 3-players. I would love that. I've got a original AVP board, 3-player. I have a bootleg board of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. So my goal would be to buy a Big Blue and then have that be able to switch between the two. But if Arcade 1-Up could put that together, take my money. That'd be great.
One thing I noticed too about those old beat 'em up games is they still hold up pretty good today, where some of the
Right.
or older arcade games don't, but those beat 'em ups still do. They still have an appeal even in modern day gaming. I feel like it's like I love beat 'em up games. There's like a story to them and an ending.
There's a story. It's a cooperative experience, so you're playing together instead of a fighting game where you're against each other. AVP, there's so much depth there. That was based on an original script to a sequel movie. When you're playing as the characters and you drop your weapon, your moveset changes. I mean, it becomes more of a fighting game. Like, I mean, you have Capcom fighting style in there. It's so cool. The way you have Jin Kasara, the ninja, the female character, she can just like, she's quick. She can jump back and forth between enemies, just like bap, bap, bap. It's so fun. I could talk about it for a while, but yeah, it's a really, really fun game, and I think that it should be more people should get to experience it.
Have you played all the versions too? They have the arcade ROM. They got like a Super Nintendo one, don't they?
They have that a departure from the game. The game was never released. It was never ported, which is sad. There was a Jaguar version. There was a Super NES version. Different producers, different companies made those games, so they were different. The Jaguar version was like, I think, a first-person fighter or first-person shooter. But the only home version was that Capcom arcade stick that they came out with in Europe. That's how I built,
that had the Capcom logo as
exactly.
the game
It was
deck.
ugly as ugly as all get out. But that's how I made my project, my AVP Arcade 1-Up, is using that stick. So because I mean, it's been emulated forever. I've got a device here. I've got these little things. These Ambernicks. Yeah, they've played these. I've got CPS2 emulators on my PSPs, so you can emulate it. They've been doing it for years, but I wanted an official release of the game from Capcom, and that was the only way you could get it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on now, guys. We're going to talk some AtGames with K Fox. Now, you had said you don't have the Legends Ultimate. You have you owned any? You own the AtGames, what, like little consoles, or have you owned any yet?
The mini. I had the mini, the 1-player control panel. Yep.
Okay, the little mini 1-player. I've got the bigger one, the Legends Gamer Pro, which is like the bigger game deck, and I've got the Legends Ultimate. And that's all I've got for AtGames. But I'm really interested in the new 4K pinball. And I've been hearing you talk about it a lot as well. This is something that, like, the Biggie D's arcade, home arcade will have eventually. It's just a matter of time on when I'm going to get it. I want the timing to be right. I want to get a good deal on it. I also want a lot of the issues with, like, the flipper lag, things like that, resolved before I spend that amount of money. So I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm constantly thinking about it on when I'm going to buy it. And I've been following these calendars with my audience every month. We just got our August calendar here. And really, there's not a lot of releases this month, except for just the Jurassic World pack. But the Jurassic World I thought was a good one. There was like a graphic I'd made that had all the different Zen titles that are going to be coming from that press release. And I actually can pull it up from a past stream I did with RGT just a couple weeks ago. I'd gone through this with him on that stream because he's a little bit interested in these. He's got the HD pinball.
Yep.
But where it's saying the Garfield coming soon and the Godzilla vs. Kong are out now. This was from a couple weeks ago. But then we got what was left. What I wanted to see was the Jurassic World. I wanted to see the Universal Classics and then the Pinball M titles. So they did pick one of those that I wanted to see. Are you excited about Jurassic World coming to the AtGames 4K pinball?
Oh yeah, I mean any kind of any new table is a good table. I'm interested obviously more in the Universal. You know, I'm a big Knight Rider fan. You know, Back to the Future, all that stuff. I would love to see that stuff come. But you know, it is what it is. I'll be happy with any kind of tie-in, any kind of table. That's the good thing about this platform is all the tables you can download. It far surpasses the limitations we have with Arcade 1-Up, and you were locked into those 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the more the merrier. Like I said, more excited about some of those other IPs, but it's not like it's a bad IP.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then this month, or last month, I'm sorry, in July, they had the My Little Pony, which I wasn't huge on, but the Garfield I thought was pretty cool. I used to watch Garfield, and I like that.
Oh yeah,
cartoon, so I thought that was a good one. And then I think the big one towards the end of July, just a couple weeks ago, was the Godzilla vs. Kong pack that came out. And what's been exciting about AtGames is, you know, Arcade 1-Up's been slowing down. They really haven't been bringing us what we want. But I've still had a lot to talk about home arcade on this channel because AtGames is constantly coming out with these pinball packs. Like every month they're coming out with new stuff for us. And thought the Godzilla vs. Kong was going to be the highlight of July for the releases, and seems like it is. I'm seeing a lot of feedback from others in the community that have already bought this table, and they're really enjoying it. They're liking it. They're saying the graphics are amazing. Now there is some, like, Pete Ups. He had put out a short talking about how there's some stutter in the middle of the playfield with the pinball going up and down north to south on that playfield.
Right. Saw that.
So there are still some issues, but people are enjoying it. They're liking it. And I just watched Godzilla X Kong on Max this week, and I really enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was excellent. I'm loving, like, the monster universe they're building in those movies, and I'm looking forward to the next one they bring us. So, and that's what I enjoy about the Zen pinballs is they're, you know, movie. Some of these are movie title pinball tables, and it just kind of brings the experience of the movie to you while you're playing pinball. It's really cool.
It's some of the coolest Stern pinball machines now. I mean, you know, Godzilla, a lot of people say that's the best, you know, pinball machine ever made. I don't know if that's accurate, but I played it. I like it. I dig it. The John Wick franchise. I mean, just the Marvel characters. I think it was Venom was one of the latest ones. I mean, brand tie-in is a great thing if used properly. And the Monster Universe. I mean, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I got the.
Oh, you got the Godzilla shirt on.
I got the -1 shirt on. I absolutely love Godzilla -1. It was an epic movie.
I still haven't seen that one, and I think it's on Netflix. I don't have Netflix.
It's on Netflix. They have a colored version and a black and white version. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's definitely it's a good movie. But
Hmm.
but I also remember just the fun of the monster movies from back in the day when I was a kid, and that lends itself well to a video game and a pinball game. So I think that it's great. These tie-ins are awesome. Like I said,
Hmm.
if used well. And I heard about some of these limitations. They give me pause about jumping on the 4KP. I don't think that there's any reason to rush out and get one just yet. I want to
Hmm.
see them fix some of these issues. And I'll pose this question to you. I think you and I are in the same boat. We're thinking about it. We want to buy it. We don't know. We're going back and forth. It's been over a year now. Do we think that maybe, just maybe, that this flipper lag issue, is this now a hardware issue? I mean, if it was software, at some point they should have been able to fix it. You patch it, you do whatever. If is it a hardware issue? Like, I mean, is there a limitation in the processor, the monitor displaying the image? I mean, I don't know. I'm not super techie as far as all that is concerned. What do you think?
So it's definitely, I had concerns about the board going into it when they were promising 4K technology and
Right.
good frame rates on a single
Oh, yeah.
board chipset.
It's a
I
lot to
had
promise, right?
concerns, and I had, I believed that it was going to be a difficult task from the very beginning before they even start. They announced it. I hadn't even seen it yet. I knew it was going to be a big hurdle for them, and it has been. It's been a very big issue, and it's been very difficult for everyone, because a lot of people spend a lot of money on these, and they don't feel like they're getting the experience in which they paid for. And that's what's held me back. That's why I'm not ready to buy.
Yeah.
I've got to see them improve that first. A lot of people are saying it's getting better, but then also I think that's people getting used to it. They're just getting used to the
That's a fair
lag.
point. Yeah.
So, and is it a hardware limitation? Like, will they be able to achieve 4K pinball without any flipper lag on the Zen tables on an AtGames 4K on that current board? I've had concerns about that as well. Will they ever be able to achieve that? And I've thought maybe a workaround for that, or a way that they could get past this, is to offer some type of add-on, like an add-on attachment to the board that gives it additional power. So maybe you can run the Zen tables in 1080 without it, but if you really want a true 4K frame rate and good frame rate on 4K, you'll need to buy an additional attachment for the board. And they've done this before with the VIBS board, where initially it wasn't released with the VIBS. You had to pay extra for that later. I could see them doing that with this as well, where they add on some additional hardware, extra power, just to get it to run right.
Like an external GPU or something, some kind of a graphics processor, something to kind of up the power.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this: we talk about this a lot. If it was $100 cheaper, would you buy it? What if? Okay, so we're $1,500 now. We got some lag. We got some issues. Would you pay $2,000 for a very good zero lag with the Zen tables 4K experience? I mean, is $2,000 way too much? Would you consider it? I mean, as it sits now, you get the topper and all the stuff. But it's 100% lag free. It'll run any game 4K, no lag, no issues. Would you consider it if it was $190 or $19.99?
Absolutely, yeah. Because I'm considering it. With the SSF kit is $2,000, and I'm considering it right now, even with the lag issues. Highly considering it.
Yeah.
Really want to get it. Just I got to make good choices. You got
to be responsible.
So yeah, yeah. So I'm absolutely would be most definitely interested in one that has no lag at 2,000. It would be like an instant buy for me. I've been playing a ton of Zen Pinball, and I've been playing it on my Legends Ultimate, hooking a PC up to it and playing OTG with the pinball buttons on the side. And I'm having a really good time with that experience. And when I'm playing it on that arcade, I'm just thinking about, what if I had a actual pinball table to play this on with the SSF kit and the sound feedback from that? I was like, man, that would just be the ultimate setup.
I think.
So I just want to see them make it right.
I agree 100%. Agree with you 100%. And everybody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have this, so I'm still on the outside looking in. We're talking about it, theoretically speaking. But everybody talks about OTG and connecting a PC to this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some costs associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you could get for $19.99, $2,000 out of the box, a great just damn near flawless 4K experience without the need to connect the PC. I mean, I think that there is the value right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
smooth experience, quick, fast, responsive, no lag. It almost negates the need for the OTG for the additional processing power of a PC. Almost combining the PC with the table. I think
Mm-hmm.
that there is a hunger and a desire for a one-stop solution. I buy one thing, I'm done. I
Mm-hmm.
can add the surround sound kit if I want to, but $2,000, you get a high-powered chipset, can run it all. No need for an OTG, no worries, no problems. It's here if you want it, but it's $2,000. I think that there's a lot of people that would go for that. I think that
Oh
I
yeah.
would, if you could put my mind at ease and say, okay, there's no lag, no problem, no issues.
Yeah. And that, in coming from you too, talking about this, you're not a huge pinball player. Like, you don't play a lot of pinball, right?
Not real pinball, no. There's some low level stuff, yeah.
And you were talking tonight about like your Attack from Mars. You had that. You have the same
Yeah,
arcade
that
one
was
up that I have. And when you owned that, did you play it a lot?
Oh, it got a ton of play.
Oh, it did. Okay.
I didn't. So okay. So when a female came into the arcade, my wife, my daughter-in-law, usually they would gravitate towards Pac-Man, or they would go to the pinball machine. It was just something that they just gravitated towards it. Of course, everybody else did too. But I think it got a lot of play. I only had one overheating issue with the PC, or not the PC, but the PCB, where it would shut down sometimes after I'd had it for probably about 6 months. But it was a temporary thing. The only thing I did to it was I added the glass top. So I mean, I think it was a decent machine. They could have definitely the processing power and maybe added more ventilation, so you
Mhm.
wouldn't have to worry about the overheating issue. But I liked it for what it was. That's and that experience makes me excited for what AtGames can give us.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really excited. Is I know that if I get this 4K pinball, it's going to get a ton of playtime. It's going to be heavy use in my game room. It's going to be something I use a lot. So that's why I'm really interested in it. And talking about that arcade one up, when I first got it, I played it a lot. I really enjoyed it. But since I've been playing those Zen tables on my PC through the AtGames Legends Ultimate, I haven't gone back to that arcade one up since.
Right.
It's just, it was 720p. The graphics weren't that great.
It was rough. Yeah, it was rough. And
but I do like the
mind,
look of it in the game room. I love the look of it.
It looks good. I mean, what they did that AtGames isn't doing, they did the chrome legs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind,
mine sits right next to my desk here, and I'll look at it every day. I love the look of it, but I never turn it on. I never play it. But it's just
don't play it? You don't play it at all?
Never do, never play it.
Really?
Yeah. I
Does
mean,
that make
every
you-
once in a while I'll hop on it. Like I was doing a live stream, doing some gaming on a live stream one week a couple months back, and towards the end of that stream, I turned it on and I played a few games. The Medieval Madness, I had a really good time with it.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite tables on it. But it's just, when I pick it up and I play it, I have a really good time. But very rarely will I ever turn it on.
No, I dig pinball. I don't like it enough to buy a real one. I'm paying $8,000 to $10,000. But no, it's $1,500, $2,000. I'd be willing to pay that for a good digital V pin. But if you don't mind, I'd like to respond to Rexer if that's okay.
Oh yeah, I was going to actually, I was going to delete that comment because I didn't think it was appropriate.
No. Bring it up.
I couldn't in Restream. So
no, there's no need to delete that. No, bring it up.
All right, let me find.
One about the YouTube channel growth.
It may be in here, but I think Carl may have deleted it. Maybe I can't.
Well,
find
his question. Okay.
Oh wait, here. Honest question. Here it is. I found.
Why
it.
is he leaving?
Says at 19
Like,
K Fox, can you share how you're getting 100 to 200 subs per day without making content? Help us low level YouTubers. I didn't think it was appropriate that he asked that on the stream.
No, it is appropriate. No, it is. Listen, everybody who watches my show, they know I'm an open book. I shared this with my members only live stream. I shared it in much more detail. This is a long process. I have a video plan for the end of August, but I will. Listen, and Rexer's not blocked on my channel. I don't know why he thinks he has to do this. What I did for the channel, and it's a fair question because my channel was growing at about 150 subs a month ish, and then all of a sudden, boom! Holy crap! What is he doing? It's crazy. What I did, and this is for all YouTubers, so anybody who is in this space, this is the abbreviated version. I'm going to have a much more detailed video because I want to have 1 month after this process is over, so I can give you all the information. What you do is you go into YouTube Studio. There's a promotion tab. Go all the way to the promotion tab. Click on that, and what you can do is you can promote a video. Now, it's not just promoting a video. You can promote it in different markets. You can promote it for different dollar amounts. You can have a different goal. You can say, I want to grow my audience. So you can either shoot for, I want more subscribers, I want more views, whatever. And then you pay, you're going to have to pay some money, right? You pay Google a fee, and then they will market your video. They will promote your video based on your recommendations. So before I did this, I started doing this in mid-June. I had a promotion that ended on the 31st of July. I promoted one video. I promoted it in a very specific market. You got to look at a bunch of stuff. Look at where you don't have an audience. I mean, like where you have zero audience. Look at the lowest CPM, cost per million. It's an advertising metric. So it costs so much money per impression in different countries. America, USA, and Canada is going to be very expensive. But developing countries, not as expensive. So what that means is you can get the most advertising bang for your buck in different countries. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this in much more detail in a video because, like I said, I'm waiting to have more information after the promotion has ended. But basically, what I did is I promoted a very specific video in a very specific area of the globe of the world, and there were certain criteria that I used based on the research that I had. Mm-hmm. It was one video I promoted for a month and a half. And you can see the results that I got. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot going on there. But if you do your research, if you really plan, if you've got a video that's maybe a little bit different, unique, in a market that you don't have no audience, you can absolutely grow your channel. Now, there's pluses and minuses to that. Big subscribers doesn't necessarily mean big views and vice versa. So I've got to wait 1 month to see what my channel does after this promotion is over. That's what I want to see. I want to be able to show you the before, the during, and the after. And then once all of that is done, I want to be able to present that to everybody so that every YouTuber, no matter whatever size, can benefit from it. Mm-hmm. So it was a calculated thing. I know some people thought that I bought views. I would prefer you just ask me.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you.
That's always better to just ask someone straight out, the question rather than speculate.
I've had people in my comment section ask me straight up, "Hey Fox, are you buying subs?" And I just explain it to them. No, there's a promotion tab. But like, if you just try to promote any video, if you try to promote it all over the world, your money is now spread out into every single possible marketing section of the entire planet, and it's not going to go anywhere. So what I basically did is when you promote your video, you're buying impressions in certain markets, and your money goes farther in certain markets. So like I said, I'm going to break this down more in my video, but it is basically you promote your video in this country, and you pay X amount of dollars, and you get more impressions. And that's basically what I did. And when I did that, I went into a market where I had zero audience. I had no audience. And now I will just say this: I'm very big in India.
Yeah, when I look at our numbers, though, like as a home arcade community, and I don't really try to compare myself with other people and what they're doing and things like that, because really, in the big scheme of things, we're like so small. I'll watch some streams where they got like 14,000 people watching during one stream.
Oh man, that's crazy!
And I'm what are we doing talking about this stuff? It's like we're not even close. We're just like a speck on the radar.
Well, and that's the thing. All these big channels, they pay to promote their channel or their videos, certain videos. I had to pick one video. I'll go ahead and tell you which one I did, so you can kind of look at it and see. I did a review of the X-Men 97 cabinet. I knew that none of the big YouTubers were going to cover that cabinet. So I knew it was kind of unique, right? I think Cornercade did it a couple weeks after me. So I kind of had a head start. That video was gaining a lot of steam. It was unique. It had the X-Men tie-in and Disney and blah, 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 all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that that was the best video to use to promote. So when you look at that video, you can look at the views. About half of the views on that video came from a paid promotion. That's a great thing about, and when I break this down, I'm going to show you my analytics so you can understand. Basically, YouTube will break it all down for you. So you can see the number of views that came organically and the number of views that came specifically from the paid promotion that you did. That's really pretty much it. But like I said, I want to have a month after so you can see this is what my channel was doing before. This is what my channel was doing.
So you're actually going to come out with a video explaining some of this stuff,
Everything.
like as like a tutorial type video to teach people.
That's the goal. That's the goal, because I did. There's a lot of ways you can grow your channel and do this. You can do that. Some of the stuff is like you can go to a third party and you can just put an order in for subs and views and all that. That is empty and hollow. It doesn't give you anything. I've heard some people do it, but there's no real long-term benefit to it. The idea is to do this. If you do any kind of promotion, if you do it through YouTube, through Google, the idea is you're on their platform and it's supposed to generate views, grow your audience in a real organic way. Because I mean, subs that are those are just numbers, and if they're bots, Google's going to go through and audit that anyway and get rid of those.
And they just implemented that recently, like in the last few months, didn't they? The paid promotion.
It was in beta. It was in beta for a long time, and I watched a bunch of videos about it. And they talked about how it was in beta, and now it's out of beta, and now you can try it. So I think any YouTuber that is monetized can take advantage of it. So
I've thought about it. I saw it on there. I was thinking about throwing a few dollars at it, just see what the result would be, but I never did.
Yeah. I've got a video. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to wait till the end of August, and I'm going to put that video together. I'm going to show my analytics before, during, and after. And I'm just going to say, this is what I did. This is what my results were. Your results may vary, but there's a way you can do it that, because I'm not made of money, you're not made of money. It's like, I can't just spend a bunch of money on marketing. But if you do it in a very targeted, specific way, it can give you pretty good results. Now, what I want to see the whole month after, because July 31st is when it ended, the whole month after, that whole month is to see, okay, what was the net gain? Okay, I got some subscribers, but are my views going to go up? You know, will the growth continue? I don't know what that is yet. So I am going to spend a month just looking at that and see, is it a road bump? Is it a anomaly? And then it all just goes back to normal, you know, or did it do some real change? That's what I'm trying to see. So I want to get that information before I put the video out. But I have no problem answering the question. If anybody's curious, I'm an open book.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up, because I know Rexer was concerned about it. He had the question, and you wanted to answer it, so I wanted you to say it.
I think it's a fair question. Rexer and I have differences, but I think it's a fair question. When you see some obvious anomaly, when you see some obvious weird thing happening, it's a totally fair question. If you follow someone's channel and that person is claiming to be an honest person, I think it's only right to make that inquiry, to ask that question. I think it's absolutely fair. I have no problem.
We need to do a stream sometime where everyone who's like butts heads and talks about each other, we all get on a stream together and we work it out.
It's how much of it is YouTube, how much of it is real life.
Yeah.
I don't think that most of these people would say these things if they were standing right in front of you.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right. Because I think what's more fun is to talk about games. It's to give each other shit about the games that they don't like. I can't believe you like that, huh? And then have a beer. And just that's what I enjoy. You know, I mean, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm used to getting crap about liking the Dallas Cowboys. I have no problem with getting crap. But usually it's done over beer, and talking smack to each other is fun. But no, I have no problem sharing any information, you know.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. And I know Rexer
No
was
problem, man.
wanting the answer to that question, so we got it cleared up.
Hopefully
there
it
on
answers
stream.
it. Hopefully it clears it up. And then, like I said, there's going to be more information coming out sooner, because I do want to be able to share that with everybody. And it's an option. I don't know if it's the success story that it claims to be, but we'll see.
Well, I appreciate Kevin, too. You sent over a $2 super chat. He says, Fox, which country are you rooting for in the Olympics? I think I already know the answer to that. Unless maybe you're from another country we don't know about it.
No, I'm born and raised in Texas. Yep.
Yeah, I know you were going for USA because you're former Army, right?
I am, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then my oldest son is currently in the Army, and then my middle son is in the Navy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So supporting the country, protecting us, and now we're out in the Olympics competing in sports right now.
Pretty awesome.
Definitely going to be rooting for USA in the Olympics. All right, let's run a quick super chat for Kevin. So I wanted to quickly just talk about it. We were going to spend more time, but we're kind of running short on time. But there was a new pricing structure for the new AtGames 4K pinballs. Basically, it's $250 less. You don't get a topper. You don't get OTG mode. You have to pay extra, unlock that. You don't get a builder's plate. And you don't get the list of games. You get one game. So you'll get the option of Addams Family or Attack from Mars. $1,250. Do you think that's a good deal? Do you think that's enough savings and to not get the topper, to not get the games, to not get the builder's plate and all that stuff?
If you're not into toppers, you can save $150 just on that alone. That's not bad. That's not bad. If you don't care about the topper and you're not going to buy it later, that's a pretty good savings. The OTG stuff, you pay a one-time fee, and that option becomes available. I think it's a significant savings. Obviously, it depends on what you want. If you just want that table on that cabinet or that machine, and maybe you want to buy a couple other games, that's all you're going to do. That's as far as you're going to go with it. I think it's probably a decent deal. But the position that I take, and the argument that I made on my channel tonight, my show tonight, was, I'm one sale away from this not being worth it at all. Because let's say the full-blown version, the $1,500 version, goes on sale $50 less. Okay, so now is $200 enough of a difference to take this version?
It was $13.99 just a weekend ago, and then during NOD it was $13.99. So you're really not saving all that much because you're still paying $100 for shipping.
You got to pay the shipping. Yeah.
And then here's the pricing here with the features. So the premium gives you a unique builder's plate, custom speaker grills, topper, OTG, 15 tables, optional SSF kit pre-installed, and then 2 months. Okay, you still get the 2 months on the starter. So really you're just missing out on the topper, the speaker grills, the OTG, and the tables. That's what you're missing out on. And I just don't think you're getting enough off. I would still go for the premium, bottom line. I'd still go for the premium. I just don't think the starter has enough value for what you're paying. It's $250 less, not that much when you're spending this much money.
I think if it was $1,000, if the price point was $1,000, now you've got a more compelling reason to maybe go for that. But I think at $1,500, like you said, I mean, this goes on sale from time to time. If they take off $50 or $100, I mean, then the gap closes even that much more. And now you've got a $150 gap. It's like I would just rather pay for the premium and get all the other extra stuff.
I like the idea, though, of what they're doing. I was saying on the streams leading up to this week that I wish they would come out with a lower price option that did not have the topper, and they could cut cost in other ways. So they were listening to what I was saying, or maybe they just thought of this on their own. But it did go in line with what I was thinking. It just wasn't enough money off. And I was thinking exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah.
They came in at $9.99. People would buy this up. And, also not just us, Sam's, Costco, places like that would want to have it as well. They got to get to that $9.99 somehow.
I think that was the one caveat that I did make in my show. Let's say that the premium starter becomes the item that Sam's and Costco does buy. Okay, let's say they buy it, then you can probably guarantee or count on it at some point. Those retailers coming in with a lower price point, they liquidate it, they whatever. I think that is possible and probably worth waiting for, because then you could see prices, $8.99, $7.99. That would be a hell of a deal.
Yeah, so I think that's the goal they need to get to, is that $9.99. And I like the idea of what they've done with the premium starter. They just didn't quite hit the mark with that. They got to figure out how can they lower the cost just a little bit more, get that to that $1,000 even price point, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for them, and a lot of people will be more interested in buying it. Because right now it is a premium product. It's a very high-priced product, and this just isn't enough off to even make me want to get a starter. I would definitely still even more so want the premium now.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's get into, because I didn't spend a lot of time because we're kind of short on time now, but I did want to talk about, because you didn't talk about this in your stream tonight, was this Crystal Castles leak.
Yeah.
Did you talk about this the week prior?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Yep.
Okay, I missed that stream, so that's probably why I didn't know about it, but I haven't got a chance to cover it yet. But Crystal Castles, I think this is what it's going to be. I did a stream about a month ago where I put it on the thumbnail. I think everyone kind of knew it was going to be Crystal Castles, but I think even more so we know for a fact it is now based on this. There was one other possibility that meets this design, which I think is Centipede. Or no, Millipede. Millipede, yep. Yeah.
Millipede.
I just don't think that'll be it. I think it's definitely Crystal Castles. What I like about this, though, is they can use what they call the Real Arcade Control trackball stick that Glenn is putting out, and they can pretty much do the same exact idea with the Crystal Castles. And there may be more people interested in the Crystal Castles than there were the Golden Tee. What do you think?
I mean, I think this fits better with what their company is known for. These weird, unique type of cabinets where, Arcade 1-Up's not going to make a Crystal Castle, right? They're not going to make, I think they should probably make a Cubert, but they didn't make a Cubert. This is more of what I think that they're more attuned to. We're going to get to see a weird cabinet like this from a company from New Wave Toys, because the barrier of entry is so low. The cost to produce this is so low. I think that the color scheme is really cool. It's different enough to where I'm looking at the cabinets that I have. It's going to stand out a lot just in my little arcade. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that it's an Atari classic. It's a unique design. I think that this is, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. This is probably something I'm going to end up buying.
Yeah. Like, looking at the two, like if they were going to do these similar, where they're going to come out with a separate game deck, a wireless game deck that gives us arcade quality controls, more in line with like the real arcade. I think I would be more interested in the Crystal Castles than I was the Golden Tee. I love Golden Tee.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't, ready to go out and buy that one. But for whatever reason I didn't. But I think I would with the Crystal Castles. And I think it's because I'm a big fan of the artwork on this. I always appreciate the artwork on these cabinets. Cool. It's one of the things I like the most about arcade collecting is the artwork aspect of it. And I think the Crystal Castles is the most extreme artwork that you can get, and it just really stands out. So this is the one that I would want to get of the two if they end up making this with the control deck.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the Golden Tee, and it pretty much lines up exactly. They may have to change up the buttons a little, like the placement of the buttons, but they could pretty much use almost the same exact control deck with just different artwork for the Crystal Castles.
I think it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with offering more variety for customers, and if you've got some crazy Crystal Castle fanatics out there, this would be great for them. It may be the best. Maybe the best recreation they're ever going to get from Atari. Nobody else is really going to make this, so this could be their ultimate thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I like about this. Whether it's New Wave Toys or whoever, it's the people that are fanatical about a certain game, whatever the game is, doesn't matter. If they can get that represented in some way, I'm happy for them. I think it's so cool. This, other than the artwork on the side, this, I don't have a lot of nostalgia for this. It's going to look good in my collection because it's different. And,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's all that it needs to be to justify the purchase. When you're talking about sub $200, okay, it's not an impulse buy, but it's something that okay, if it's different enough, I definitely want to take, I want to take a shot at it. I want to look at it. I want to probably buy it. I mean, I like the company. I like the quality. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move, and I don't mind the options. I think the reason why I wasn't pumped about Golden Tee, getting the control panel right for Golden Tee, is because I can already play Golden Tee in multiple different ways. I mean, there's so many ways out there to play Golden Tee. Crystal Castle is a little bit of a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, to your point, it may be better suited to have that Glen deck with this particular game. And it could be cool. I mean, it's and if they can do it with minimal effort, just change the artwork, man, that'll be awesome. It's a win-win for anybody who's a fan of these old games.
So you have a collection of New Wave toys you've started.
Yes.
Which ones do you own so far?
I've got the Cubert. I've got the, which one is it? Is it Ghouls and Ghosts? Yeah, Ghouls and Goblins, or Ghosts and Goblins. I've got Dragon's Lair. I've got 1943. I've got the Coke Machine. I've got the M90 Blaster.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the 4 machines. I've got the cigarette machine pre-ordered. I've got the pinball machine, the black hole pinball machine pre-ordered, and maybe even if this looks like I think it's going to look, I'm probably going to pre-order this one too.
Yeah, that's cool. And like for me, I'm in a smaller place. I'm in an apartment, so I've kind of run out of room with the arcade 1-ups unless I smash them together. Maybe it'll
Right.
fit like 1 or 2 more, but I can collect a ton of these New Wave
Yes.
toys. I could
Yes.
have like 20, 30 of these when it's all said and done. It really wouldn't take up much room to start a shelf of them. And that's what's been great is I can expand my arcade. I can keep collecting arcades, but I don't have to have the space available.
Right.
And then you said it too. It's that sub 200 price point where you can just kind of impulse buy these,
Yeah.
whether you play them a ton or not. They're works of art. You're sitting them on places where you're going to see them a lot. It can be worth $200 to me, whether I play it or not. But then you get Glenn's control panel involved, and you can actually hook it up to the TV. Have like real arcade quality controls that are more in line with like the real arcade. Now we're talking, And New Wave Toys is making some really cool stuff right now. So AtGames, I'm really excited about what they're doing. I'm really excited with what New Wave Toys is doing as well. There was a lot of speculation about the full-size New Wave toys. Do you remember all that going on?
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah. So that's still a possibility
yeah.
too. They may, with enough success, enough, financial, financials are going good for them. Maybe they can develop a full-size cabinet for us eventually. What do you think? Do you think that'll ever happen?
I don't know. I'm of two minds of that. I think that they've been so successful with these recreations because of the low barrier of entry, the cost associated with a 1/6 scale cabinet is radically different than a full size or even 3/4. There's so many concessions you're going to have to make with a 3/4 scale. I mean, you see RKO 1-up, they have to flat pack it. They got to, you're stacking panels, and that means the artwork on the side, you're going to have to cut it in half and all that. A lot of concessions you have to make. And if New Wave Toys did that, would it lose some of that authenticity? Would they have to, as they're going through the process, the coin doors can't be metal and this and that? I think we could lose what is so special about New Wave Toys. It is the accuracy of the recreation, the real wood, all that stuff.
And you see that kind of getting missed or corners getting cut to make the full size if that was to ever happen. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we would lose that. So then we would end up with, and then if we're having to cater to retailers, we just get back in the same boat that RKO 1-up is in, where we just see NBA Jam and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter over and over and over again Pac-Man, to the nth degree. And
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the cost we have to pay to go full size. I would rather them stay 1/6 scale.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
to
think I'm right there with you on
Yeah,
that. I would
yeah,
almost rather them stay with what they've done and done well than them, stretch themselves to the point where they're making stuff that isn't in line with what they've done in the past. I'd rather them keep
yeah,
that attention to detail, that authenticity, all those things, than to bring us something we really want, which is the big full size.
yeah. And
Just
I
do
want the
what you do
weird.
well.
Yeah, and give us those weird titles. Give us those odd, unique arcade machines that we can point to and say, "Oh, that's cool." We can tell a story about that. We played it back in the day, because I'm just afraid of the mainstream titles continuing to come out if they go full scale.
Hmm.
So we'll see what they do. But
I know I
yeah,
had Shiloh on the channel a couple months ago, and he had said they're going to ramp up productivity on these. They're going to start coming out with more and more every year going forward,
so
and we
cool.
should start seeing more and more releases. So it's going to get more exciting.
That is
They're going to start putting out more and more stuff. And then I like the idea of them working with Glenn in combination with him to bring us better controls. But I
right.
did not like the price point of that Golden Tee at $399. Thought that was a little too high. I wish that could have come in at $299, even $350. That $400, it's a hard pill to swallow for something so
Hmm.
small. That was, if I could have one thing to say about New Wave Toys, I'd like to see them improve if they're going to bring us these full size controls, is get that price a little bit lower somehow. However you have to do it. I think $399 is just a little too much for on the Golden Tee.
If you could offer maybe it's I don't know, how do you do that, right? You could have just a generic controller, and then it plugs into the back and it plays all the games, but it doesn't have the artwork specific to the cabinet. You could do that, but then you lose authenticity. I don't know, but I think you're right. I think if you could maybe have that as an optional controller, maybe that's the better way to go. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes towards the end of this year. I think it is going to be Crystal Castles, and then they said they have another announcement by the end of this year. So we should have at least two more announcements by the end of this year on new products coming. And I think
That'd
we
be
all
fun.
know at least one of those is Crystal Castles.
Yeah.
Quickly, too, we're getting up almost on 2 hours now. Also, Step said Zoltar is amazing. Absolutely, it is, guys. I love my Zoltar. It's like another person in my apartment right now. I'll put it in the attract mode sometimes, and it'll kind of startle me because it'll just start speaking out of nowhere, and I forgot that I had it in attract mode. And it is great. It's so cool, this little Zoltar. You haven't gotten yours yet, have you? Are you going to get one, K-Fox?
I did not get one. No, I have applied to be on their list of people that get review units. They haven't replied back.
Oh, really?
So
I'm surprised.
I'm probably not going to get one, unfortunately. But it's okay. I missed out on this one. I'm not going to miss out on any more for sure.
Well, keep trying. I know that they're. I had to try. I
Yeah.
contacted them multiple times before they ever sent me anything. And maybe you should bring or invite, one of their staff onto your show to do a stream
Not a bad
sometime.
idea. It's not a bad
Yeah,
idea. I should probably do that. Yeah.
because that helps promote their business too, and that would be good to hear you guys discuss their stuff. So I wanted to get your opinion real quick to kind of wrap up the stream tonight on a couple of subjects. One is going to be the CES, because you were at CES 2023 in January, and you're like the only one in this community that did a video about this stuff at that time. And I know Justin was there, but he didn't do any videos on this. You did. So I wanted to ask you about it. So real quick, Atari Game Station Remix. What do you think of this?
It's just a ton of potential not realized. I think that the more that they can shrink this form factor, it's like the barrier of entry we talked about. So you've got a $500, $600, $700 cabinet, or a $150 set-top box or $100 set-top box. It's a better way for people to. It's an easier way to people to get this and play these games and enjoy the experience. The way that they were able to sort of add these customized controllers, it wasn't just your standard joystick with one button, which I think is the more authentic way to go. But by all means, add some options for people is really cool. I liked what I saw, I couldn't actually physically touch it or play it, which is disappointing for sure. I wanted to get my hands on it to understand, how does the plastic feel? How do the buttons feel? How does is the joystick tight? Is it loose? What is that all about? They were pre-production models anyway. But I think that I've always liked these little set-top boxes, whether it's Atari.
So you were never able to get them out of the glass?
No.
They were behind the glass. They never let you even touch them.
Couldn't even touch them. Yeah.
Were you able to ask any questions on these and get some feedback on
oh yeah. So I've got a video where I walked around and talked to one of the representatives. Gen X Gamer was also there. John with Gen X Gamer, he's a cool guy. Got to kind of hang out with him. He's got a good relationship with my arcade. The conversations were very open, pretty honest. They seemed really excited. They did ship me the Tetris handheld to review, so I was excited about that opportunity and the relationship kind of growing, and it kind of stopped, got kind of stagnant. But they seemed to be very, obviously the prototypes they showed were showing a variety of these not set-top boxes, but these tabletop, countertop arcades, for lack of a better term, in different variations. I mean, this one was the big one. This one was really cool.
Yeah, so this is more of the size of the countercade that Arcade 1-Up is putting out. So it has like a paddle. It's got a little bitty trackball.
Yeah, you got this really cool multicade here with this 10-inch monitor, high def. You got these controls, which are really good controls. I was excited about this for sure. And then it just didn't come to fruition, or I haven't heard anything else about it. I'm kind of curious to see what the hell they're going to do with this, but it's a unique and interesting way. Some of this is just desk crap. You've heard them say that before, where you just put it on a shelf or a desk and you don't worry about it. But I mean, I like multiple form factors and ways to play these arcade games. But I'm just curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, we haven't heard much, right? We saw the CES stuff that you put out and Gen X Grown Up put out. But then we didn't hear anything for a long time. And then I saw Gen X Grown Up received this Game Station Portable. They received a prototype, but it was really just the mold. It wasn't playable or anything. Yeah. So it seems like they're still in the development phase. They haven't quite got past that yet. But I think they're still planning on releasing this early next year. So I think we're still 4 or 5 months away from it releasing, but they are inching closer because they did send out that mold prototype to Gen X Grown Up. And it was the Game Station Portable that they sent him. So it is indeed still coming. We just don't have much information yet on it. And but I do like what they've come up with so far. I do like the little trackball. I do like the paddle. I'm not a huge Atari fan, but this may open me up to playing the Atari games more if this thing plays and is a lot of fun.
I think you touched on something, though. If you've got a device like this, 17-inch, or not 17, sorry, not 17, 7-inch HD display. You've got a lot of investment in hardware here. Only dedicated to playing Atari games could be the issue. If they could open this up to some kind of downloadable service. You can download different games, playing multiple games on this. You have an SD card you can put different games on. Such a dedicated device only to play Atari games.
Even with 200 of them on there, it's still limited.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a misstep when you talk about a price point. I mean, a 7-inch screen, this is not going to be a $50 device. You're talking about north of $100. And I mean, if it's $50, that is an impulse buy. If it's a smaller screen, it's Atari only. I get that. But that was my trepidation with this. It's you're putting a lot of money into this handheld device. It looks nice, but if you're only going to be able to play Atari games, you've got yourself, you're pigeonholed now. You're only people are going to buy this are going to be Atari fanatics, and I just think that's I don't know. It could be a dangerous position to be in, even with a brand like Capcom. I think you would still struggle to sell enough units to justify the investment, but it is what it is, I guess, at this point. It remains to be seen what's going to happen. Could be something you could add titles to, but we'll see.
I would be interested to see, can you hack this and just sideload games to it, because that I think would be enough too for people to go out and get it. Even if, My Arcade's not giving you the games, just to be able to open it up for more games on our own, I think have some value behind it. I'm interested in it. I think the reason I'm most interested in this is because it's such an extreme difference than what they've done in the past. They've only done those like cheap plastic ones that you see at like CVS, Walmart by the checkout counter. And now they're getting into some more premium, high quality stuff. And I think that's what initially got me hooked on wanting to follow this stuff, is just it's so extremely different than what they've done before. And they do have the Atari license. And, I think there's a lot they could do with this and a lot of places this could go. So I wanted to keep an eye on it, even when we haven't had very little information. I still want to continue to talk about it. And I also wanted to get your opinion tonight, because you're actually one of the only people that were by that booth that really got some insight on this stuff.
I'm telling you, the devices weren't operational, but they looked solid. They looked like, it did look like some weird, sketchy 3D printed stuff. I mean, the mock-ups looked really good. It looked really promising. It looks like something you would absolutely love to have in your collection, sitting on a desk, whatever. It looks slick. It's just going to be about the execution at this point. And, even if it was something you could download games to, if they had a service, if My Arcade had some kind of service, you could download over Wi-Fi something, a few different games. But, it's a lot of investment. I mean, what kind of Atari fan do you have to be to invest in this? I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and quick question here from Step. She had, what are your opinions on the Evercade Alpha, the Countercade? I think I got a picture of that from last week.
Hey, Steps, what's going on? So I like the Countercades. Arcade 1-Up did a great job on the Countercades. I love the fact this is about the same size. I think the Evercade Alpha is a great deal because of the expandability of it. I think that if you're cool with the form factor, that's the first hurdle. If you can get past that, okay, I like this form factor. This is cool. If you like the included games, which you can't go wrong with Capcom. I mean, I know it's kind of market saturated with Capcom, but if you like the included games, okay, so there's kind of a win. And if you're into the ecosystem at all, if you've got any of the, and I've got a little stack here, if you've got any of the Evercade games that are arcade related, I don't know, it's kind of a win. It's a win-win, because even with the Arcade 1-Ups, the best you could ever hope for was, 4 games? I mean, they're really, really limited on the games list. This is a cool way to, if you're already in the ecosystem, if you got the Evercade, I think it's a good thing. It's a good way to play these games. I am personally interested. I don't have one pre-ordered yet because I have the EVS, or the portable. I've got that. I'm sorry, the EXP. I've got the EXP, and I want to get that. I've got the Super Pocket. I've got another Super Pocket on pre-order. I'm probably going to wait on the Evercade Alpha. It's not because I don't think it's cool. I just got other stuff cooking right now. But if they did something, maybe I can't believe I'm saying this. If they did something besides Capcom, I think I'd be probably a little more interested, because I have so much Capcom in my arcade right now.
Yeah, I liked what they did with this. When I initially saw this release and the announcement was made, I was really hyped for it, because it fits exactly what we want to see. A big blue Countercade. It is marquees, games we've seen before, except for the Mega Man. Yeah, swappable marquees.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I definitely think this is some cool stuff. One of the things that I think that deters me more than anything about Evercade is that they're outside the U.S. And for whatever reason, I don't like dealing with websites I'm not familiar with, and I don't like purchasing things that are outside the country.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of trepidation there. I use Video Game Plus, VGP. They're in Canada, so they're not in the U.S., but they are in North America, and their prices tend to be a little bit cheaper, and the shipping is pretty quick. So that's who I usually go with. I went with the Fun Stock over in UK to get that limited edition Atari, because that was the only way I could get it. But beyond that, I usually go with VGP.
Okay, so you got that limited edition that looks like the wood
grain, yeah.
Yeah, and I even had a picture of that tonight, because I remember you talking about it. So if you guys are curious what he is talking about, it is this right here, limited to 2,600 units. I thought that was pretty good promotion right there.
Good, that's not bad, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like, guys.
I'm a sucker. I can't help it.
I heard you talking about the buttons on the back, though. They're kind of uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, they're horrible. If you've got big hands, I've got big goofy fingers. I've got my Capcom version here. If you're using the face buttons, no problem. If you try to, it's a little bit weird to try to you're playing and if you gotta hit this this R2 and L2 to try to do this, it kind of cramps the fingers a little bit. So, but the face
I do like that Game Boy type design.
Oh,
like
dude.
I have the Ambernick that looks like that.
Okay. Listen, these I can't undersell or oversell this enough. The way these cartridges slide in, the fit is so tight. I mean, it really is. It's so nice. And you've probably had. I've had these in the past. You get these cartridges and it kind of slides in. It's kind of crappy. This fits in nice and tight. So it's just pretty good. I mean, if you're the face buttons, no problem. The shoulder buttons, it's not so good. It's kind of, but yeah.
So for me, I'm playing an Ambernick that looks just like that, and I'm having a blast with it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and Justin sent it to me actually. He got them
cool.
like for a review or something, and he's like got a bunch of them. And he's like, "Hey, you want one?" He sent me out one. I've been playing it a ton.
That's why I usually prefer this form factor because it's just a little bit easier. With the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, he had sent me a message. He's like, "You want that one, or do you want the one that looks like the Game Boy?" And I chose the Game Boy, and I'm happy with that decision because I've got a Switch. I've got plenty of ways I can play games in that way. But I remember my Game Boy so well. I wanted something that resembled that and kind of gave me that experience, and that Ambernick definitely does.
Absolutely.
Just kind of wrap up the stream here. Kind of last subject for tonight was going to be the Zelda Hyrule Edition. I had saw that you posted on a community post you may be interested in getting one.
It's so horrible. I'm such a lie. I talk about I'm a sucker. You take a Switch Lite and you paint it gold and you put branding on it, and it's like I have to buy it. It's horrible. I know.
You have a whole collection of handhelds. You like display them, right?
I'm a big handheld fan. It started with the Game Boy back in the day, and then I couldn't afford. I had kids young and all that. I couldn't afford to buy stuff day one. But the one console that I pre-ordered, and I was there for the midnight release, was the PSP, the first generation. And I absolutely love that handheld. I was kind of a Sony fanboy at that point. So I got that handheld.
I got the Vita when it first came out. I got the white one.
I got the
with
Vita,
Assassin's Creed.
I got the 1000. I got the 2000. And I've got the PSPs, all the different versions. It's such a cool. At that point, it was like a multi-tool type of item, right? You had your videos, and music, and games, and all that. It was so cool. And yeah, Steph's talking about the OLED screen in the light would be great, really good. But they're not going to do that because it's the light. They're trying to save money. But the OLED on the PS Vita, that first generation, was absolutely sick.
And I hear what she's saying about it's too tiny. But I only play my light on the go. Like when I'm away from home, I'll take the light, and I love it for that reason. Because I may get in like 15, 30 minutes of game time on it. And then what's cool is my saves will sync with my Switch at home. So when I get on the big TV, I can pick back up where I left off. So I like the Switch. I hear what Steps is saying about how it's smaller, screen smaller, things like that. But I like the portability of it. And that's one of my favorite things about the light. So I thought this was really cool. I've already got the yellow Switch Lite, so I probably won't go get this. But I think it's really cool looking. And I also wanted to highlight this tonight, not only because I saw you post about it, but I've been playing a ton of Zelda over the last week. I normally will do this. I'll buy Zelda, and I'll put in like 30 hours, but I won't beat it. And then I'll take like a couple of years off, and then I'll pick it back up, and then I'll finish it. Yep. Well, I did that with Breath of the Wild. Now I'm doing it with Link's Awakening Remake. For the last week, I've been playing Link's Awakening Remake nonstop. I probably put like 20 hours in this week trying to finish that because
that's awesome.
There's about to be a new Zelda game come out that's similar overhead. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to get ready for that one. I want it to be finished with Link's Awakening before this game comes out here. Echoes of Wisdom. So I want to finish Link's Awakening before I start this. But do you like Zelda games?
I do. I'm like you, though. I have to get in that mindset and dedicate myself to it. I treat it the same way that I treat Metal Gear Solid. I have to, if I get into it, I got to dedicate myself. I gotta pursue it and stick with it. But
Hmm.
I'm almost at the point. The arcade is winding down as far as the construction, the implementation, the games coming in, and
Hmm.
I'm going to get to refocus and really spend a lot of time just playing games. We moved into this house about a year and 3 months ago. It's been
Hmm.
kind of a whirlwind. I look forward to getting back to playing, but I'm just like you. I can get into it. I just get devoted, like super focused, and then you get pulled away and life happens, but then you go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to get so into a world, any game, and lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
But I got to kind of get other stuff like checked off the list right before you can get there. Responsibilities, kids, family, all that. But
Yeah, it's
but
so
yeah.
time consuming. When you get sucked into these games, it just takes
Oh
so
yeah,
much
man.
time away from you. But I
So
love that,
good.
like what you're talking about, where you get immersed in the game. And it's
Oh
like
yeah,
you're living in this other world for a period of time. It's crazy. And Zelda really does that for me.
absolutely. One of the most. I mean, I can't. It's hard to pick a franchise that has been so consistent or more consistent than Zelda as far as quality, story. It's a world that you can easily lose yourself in.
Yeah, and they're not the best looking games or the best graphics, but
They've
it
got a
doesn't have to
style.
be.
They've got
It's
a
just
style. It's unique. It's different. It's beautiful. It doesn't have to be, realistic
mhm.
to be beautiful. You can settle on a style, whether it's cell shaded graphics or whatever. You can settle in that style, and you can develop that world and build that world and be immersed in it, even if it's not the best graphics ever. It's a style that I think that it's especially with Zelda, Mario too. It's
Mario's
easy to
another one of those
oh
games where
dude,
I love
yeah,
them. Like
and
I
just
just
get
picked
into
up
it.
my 3DS the other day and started playing Mario 3D Land again. Amazing game, It's like 10, 12 years old now. And it's still an amazing game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So good to talk some Nintendo with you. Something I'm going to be doing on my channel, talking about views and things people are doing with their channels. Something I want to do is I want to expand my channel outside of home arcade and get into some console gaming. A little bit of focus on PlayStation and Nintendo, and I don't own an Xbox. Well, I have an Xbox One, but I haven't played it in years. But I want to, focus some on that stuff and not just make it about home arcade, but about gaming in general.
I think if you have a passion for whatever, right, whatever it is,
Hmm.
there's hundreds of thousands of YouTube channels out there. The only way you're going to really have any kind of success, or better yet, instead of success, just be happy doing this hobby. The
Hmm.
only way you're going to have that happiness is to be genuine to who you are
Hmm.
and really just do what it is you enjoy, what you want to do. And I think that's the best way to move. And whether it's consoles, home arcades, freaking, you want to knit a sweater. I mean, do whatever you want to do. And if you're
People
passionate
will
about it,
watch if you're
they
genuine.
absolutely. If you're excited about it and you enjoy it and you're into it, they will watch you knit that sweater.
Yeah. So one thing to kind of wrap up and finish the stream, I wanted to ask you about was Pinball Expo, October 15th through the 19th. I know a bunch
Hmm.
of us are going. Are you going to make it?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think so. This is the one in Chicago, right? This is what
Yeah,
we're talking
Chicago,
about.
October
Yeah.
15th through the
Yeah.
19th. We're going to hopefully go to Galloping Ghost. I hope everybody can
Man,
get together and go.
been talking to the boys. The plan is we're all going there, and we're gonna hit the usual spots. We're gonna go to Galloping Ghost, obviously. I want to go back to I think it was Logan's.
Hmm.
Was one of the really cool bars we checked out. So cool.
Oh, you went to
They-
Chicago originally
oh yeah,
when you guys went
yeah.
to Galloping Ghost. I remember that.
We went
That
to
was right when I
Chicago.
started my channel. Was that like
Absolutely.
September of 22?
Yeah, it was September. Yeah,
That's
we
when I
went
started
there.
my
Oh,
channel.
dude, that was so cool because we had well, obviously we had Galloping Ghost. That was fun. It was the Game and Brew, the last Game and Brew before our arcade went under, which kind of sucked. But I
Mhm.
got to meet so many people in the community. It was just fun. It was just you could say a lot of things about iArcade, but those people were passionate about what they were doing at the time, so it was really cool.
That's what got me into YouTube. I was watching you guys, but you guys had such a good time in Chicago that year. I was like, I got to start making YouTube content because
Oh
these
hell
guys
yeah!
are having such a good time with this. I need to do that too. And that's what really put me over the edge and made me create my channel, was watching you guys in Chicago that year, having such a good time out there. So anyone who's watching, if you're new to the community or you're new to YouTube, definitely try to make it out to this Pinball Expo, because there's going to be a bunch of us out there. We're all going to get together. We're going to party. We're going to go to Galloping Ghost. We're going to go check out pinball machines at the expo. So it's going to be a good time. But good to hear you'll be there, K-Fox.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those things. Like, it's my one-man trip. I get to do with the guys, and and it's exciting. No, so Chicago is about a 5-hour drive for me. I usually just drive up, and then we'll have a vehicle. We'll get a Airbnb. We're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be exciting.
Nice, and it's not that far from now. It's like September, October, only a couple months away now, so it'll come quick. But I've already got everything lined up. Got the plane ticket, hotel. Just got to get my tickets to the show, to the expo.
Nice.
I haven't bought those yet.
Nice.
But I think you can buy those at the gate or at the door and be fine.
I'm sure you probably can, yeah.
But this has been cool. Anything you want to tell everyone before we close out the stream? Anything coming up new on your channel you want to promote? I shared this with my members. I have a super secret big cabinet coming. It's a real cabinet. It's one I've been waiting for. I put the money in, talked to the company that's reconditioning it, and it's finally gonna be ready in about 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, I'm gonna have another road trip video going to pick this thing up. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about my new Arcade 1-Up project, working on that. That's gonna be a ton of fun. And to sort of reiterate what we talked about tonight, if you're out there in the community, if you think you have a voice, if you want to talk about this stuff, don't worry about the ancillary stuff, views and all that. Just get a camera and start a channel and just talk about it and join the community, join the conversation. It's a ton of fun. And most of us behind the scenes, we're just a bunch of dorks living our dream. Yeah.
And thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been great. I've been meaning to ask you to come on for a long time. I just your show is really big and you're busy on Sunday nights. So I also didn't want to take away from that. And I didn't think you would want to do a stream right after yours, but you said yes immediately. Like, let's do it. So maybe I should have asked you sooner.
Well, I try, when somebody reaches out, I want to do my dead level best to make sure I give them an opportunity. And like I said, I just like talking about this stuff, and it's fun. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I saw Science Spirits maybe said it in the chat. You've been going for like over 4 hours now, so you need a break.
Probably, yeah. At least a bathroom break for sure, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. This has been a really good time. Everyone, have a good week. Good start to your week on Monday morning. And I'll see everyone next Sunday for another live stream. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Peace.